Hi, how you doing here? This is Green Revolution with the lovely Elena Lopez. And Elena, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, and we'll take it from there.
Sure. My name is Elena Lopez, and I'm a program director at the New Jersey Tree Foundation. We are a statewide nonprofit dedicated to planting trees in areas of most need all throughout New Jersey. So right now we're here today at University High School in Newark. We planted 16 trees, and we're standing right in front of a lovely tree that's surrounded by camellias and lilies and some other flowers to complement the tree and complement its beauty.
And what type of species is this particular tree here?
This is a tree lilac, an ivory silk tree lilac.
Ivory silk tree lilac. Now, is this particular tree been selected because of its hardiness, or its native, its, I guess, is nativity? Is that a word?
Sure.
Yeah, sure, it is now. So the fact that it's native to New Jersey and it could thrive in this area, or?
So it's actually not native to New Jersey.
Okay.
But we found that because we're planting in urban communities, the urban setting is not what the original native setting was.
Okay.
So oftentimes we have to pick some trees that are not native to the area, but they do better in the area. So we have a list of trees we choose from that are hardy, they fit within the hardiness zone, and they do well during cold winters, things like that.
And what is New Jersey, this tri-state area's hardiness zone?
So right now we go between 6 and 7, depending on what area. It actually is more compartmentalized than you'd think. So in Newark, I believe we're at 7A.
Okay, 7A. Okay. Yeah. All right, great. And so, there are a lot of people out there who definitely believe in and know the power of trees. For some very basic reasons. They produce oxygen, they fix carbon, they can create climate, they filter out the air. So we have that audience, right? They're already bought in.
Definitely.
So how can we talk about trees to almost the opposition and start that conversation? Talk about why is it important for someone who saying, I don't want a tree in front of my business. It's going to reduce my profitability. I don't want a tree, because it might mess up my drain system. I heard of my neighbor, 3 blocks down had some root system you have to deal with from some very old, hickory.
Right.
When you look at people who disagree with you and trees in general, how can we help convert them and start that conversation so they too can benefit from these amazing?
So we just present the facts. So most of the reasons people don't like trees, whoever does not like trees, it's because they're misinformed.
Okay.
So it might be that the improper tree was planted in front of their house one day. So maybe a pin oak was planted in a 2.5 by 2.5 square, and it's lifted up the sidewalk. Well, yeah, that's the kind of tree that has very extensive root system. It'll grow very wide. So you just have to make sure, and this is what we practice, is to plant the right tree, the right place, the right way. So if the proper tree is planted, then you won't have these issues. And if it's maintained right from the beginning, the tree should be as healthy as possible.
I love that. Right tree, right place, right way.
Yep, absolutely.
I like that. Great.
That's one of essentially our mottos.
Yeah.
But I like to listen. One of the best ways to get the person to see your way is just essentially listen, hear what they have to say, and then present them with the more appropriate, the proper facts. So if they say, it's gonna not profitable for my business,
right,
I bring up the fact, well, did you know that trees and tree-lined streets actually increase property value? Or that properly placed trees can reduce your heating and cooling costs? So once you start talking about things economically, the people who aren't all hoorah, trees are great, which you and me are,
right,
then they start to think of things a little differently.
And so that's a really logical and capitalistic way of looking at this, right? So you're saying, and I know that we've read many studies on this as well, that trees increase property value. Right? Because of privacy, because of beauty, because people want trees on their property. They also, like you said, have been proven to increase profitability of stores that have trees nearby. I mean, if you look at malls, what are malls something inside? Every single one of them, trees, greenery, bushes, plants, because people have biophilia, right? They're attracted to nature.
Absolutely.
I just love that. And I think that, if any, industry professional out there, anybody has a bodega or a school or anything, I think reaching out to the New Jersey Tree Foundation would be such a phenomenal thing, because it's a great way to get involved, to make science come to life, and quite honestly, to help bit by bit revolutionize our city and, bring the greenery back and correspondingly bring the health back of our people.
Yeah, and we also, one of the reasons we focus on inner cities is that they tend to have concrete everywhere, and trees also help
Standing on it.
filter stormwater, because if you have concrete everywhere, you have all of that impervious surface, that all of those impervious surfaces, then water has nowhere to go. It can't go naturally back into the water system. So when we remove concrete, we are allowing for water to flow naturally into the waterways, and also trees help absorb some of that water, as they obviously need water to live as well.
And with Newark or New York or any major city from Los Angeles to San Bernardino to San Francisco to Dallas, when you have such massive concrete, I mean, you see it here, this is a school, but this is a perfect example. These are impervious surfaces, concrete, asphalt, etc. Trees, like you said, they filter out the stormwater. What else do they do? Isn't there something about like a heat island effect or something? Or
yeah, so most cities have what's called urban heat island effect, and that happens because the air is trapped, because if there's all this concrete, the light is reflecting, and it's making everyone nice and hot. Well, what happens there is the cities and the downtown areas tend to be about 10 degrees hotter than the suburban and rural counterparts.
10 degrees?
10 degrees Fahrenheit, yep.
Wow, and that's in all cities? Or most?
Yeah, essentially, it's the same phenomenon that happens all around. So you've got this concrete, there's not a lot of airflow, and so trees help bring nature back into cities.
And also reduce air conditioning costs.
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and during the summers, if they're tall and they're planted right place, right tree, right way, they're able to provide shade, right?
Absolutely.
And then therefore reduce AC costs again?
And not only that, you'll have people coming back into their neighborhoods. So oftentimes in the summer, you'll see people, they stay inside of their house because it's air conditioned. Well, with properly planted trees, you can have people all of a sudden are sitting out in front of their trees. They're sitting out in the shade. And what does that do? It not only brings people out and brings this social aspect back together, it also creates a neighborhood watch. So trees actually reduce crime rates. So you have people out, they're sitting in front of their homes, they're having lovely chats. No one's gonna come rob a house because you've got the natural police of surveillance from the neighborhood.
It's positive social pressure, right?
Absolutely.
No shots fired, crimes reduced, lives saved, and people are chilling outside, enjoying some fresh air, and rebonding with their community members, right? I think that's why we have pocket parks, right?
Exactly.
That's why now Senator, former Mayor Cory Booker was so inspirational to so many of us, because he encouraged this kind of productivity, with adopt a plots and with tree planting, because he knows, and many people know, the importance that trees can literally build back communities and connect people. That's such a great, profound thing. Yeah. So, can we take a tour and show us like maybe some of the trees that you planted? Because this looks like a pretty significant planting.
So we'll start off on the back here, but this is a nice little patio area, and before we came, there were no trees, there was only a little bit of greenery, and so we came in with Miss Hanneman, who's a lovely science teacher here at University High School. She actually had worked with us at another high school, and then when she moved over here, she said, well, we want trees in this community as well.
Nice.
So we have 2 tree lilacs back here.
Tree lilacs.
The idea being that these will provide a little bit of shade, they'll provide a nice area where people will want to come outside, and so the teachers have already talked about getting some benches, maybe creating an outdoor learning environment, and it tends to be that way. The trees they're kind of like a catalyst, and people all of a sudden take pride in where they live and where they work, and we can't wait to see that happen here at University High School.
That's so great. They take pride in where they live, where they work, and these how large will they become, these particular tree lilacs?
So they're a smaller growing species. They'll max out at about 20 feet tall, and we chose that, and also in width. We chose that because it is kind of an enclosed area, and also they have beautiful flowers, and we kind of want that pop of color to liven up this corridor area.
Yeah, and also pollinators, right?
Yeah.
You're giving the local bees, butterflies, etc., pollen and nectar to live off of. That's a beautiful thing as well. And now you see here. So this is such a beautiful area for any sort of, like you said, an outdoor learning environment. Whether they want eventually could get a beehive on campus and dodge or rather work through some red tape regarding anaphylactic shock, because that's a really big thing. A lot of private schools have beehives. Some public schools do, but I believe that once you learn that there is no insurance for a bee sting, because it's a naturally occurring thing,
Sure.
and most things that sting are things that are not bees. Yellow jackets, they sting multiple times. They give bees a bad rap. Wasps. So once you increase that, just like you're increasing the awareness of trees, once you increase the importance of having beehives, learning how to keep European and other types of bees, you can have that kind of thing here too.
It's all about educating people.
Education. George Washington Carver, education is the golden door to freedom, right?
Beautiful.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that word.
Another agriculturalist.
Yes. Look at this. Another tree lilac. And so this is New Jersey Tree Foundation. Can you tell us more about it? Maybe some highlights of the accomplishments, the history of and culmination of this great nonprofit.
Sure. The Tree Foundation has been around since 1998.
Okay.
And we have planted over 204,000 trees in that time.
You said 204,000?
204,000.
Wow. 204,000.
That's right.
Almost 250,000.
Well, yeah, indeed.
And so
Never
I
thought of
wonder,
it that way.
yeah, if you look at the stats there, how much carbon has been sequestered, and what would be the equivalent of how many cars taken off the road?
Oh my goodness, I wish I had that.
Like those are, but
That's
that's
right there.
right. But those are some
just
numbers.
Think about that.
I mean,
Definitely.
it's got to be significant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, significant.
Absolutely.
Yeah, wow. And so over here, I just had to end this way, because over here we have I think the word inspiration is applicable.
Absolutely.
And it says, before I die, I want to. Now, if you know anything about Newark, it's the biggest city in our state of New Jersey. Unfortunately, there is a lot of crime. Some say, the people who are aware of why know that it is due to the, how do you say it politically correct way, the lack of justice for some and lack of proper education, for some, which has created a system that is tilted, as President Barack Obama says, everybody deserves a fair shot, So I just love this here. Before I die, I want to, and I always love to end my videos on some sort of inspirational quote. So I just want all the people listening and watching out there to think about that. Do you want to plant a tree? Do you want to become an educator? Become an educator. What do you want to do? And before you die, carpe diem. Again, Elena, I wanted to thank you so much for taking your time out of your busy schedule to talk with us.
Thank you.
Keep on doing what you're doing. 204,000 trees.
That's right.
It's phenomenal. Over.
Yeah.
Almost 250,000. New Jersey Tree Foundation. Where can we find more information and team up with you?
You can find us on our website at njtreefoundation.org. You can find us on Facebook at NJ Tree Foundation and Twitter, Instagram, NJ Trees.
Awesome.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Bye.
Bye.